wide open on that throttle on the fat drive part of that rear tyre all the way out, and he's had plenty of track to use, so he wasn't struggling to get it turned. Matt, I get the feeling if he's done something style-wise, he said his team spent a lot of time analysing between Aragon race and turning up here in Japan and analysing where he was losing at Aragon, and they told him he went straight out on that dry day yesterday, a dry session, and fixed it. And I wouldn't be surprised if in dry conditions, especially, Jack is an even bigger threat in the upcoming races.
Yeah, we haven't been to Motegi, of course, for 3 long years, and in that time these MotoGP bikes have advanced at a pretty significant rate, in particular in terms of aero, which has created a lot more downforce and braking stability, certainly in terms of the rear ride height devices, in terms of improving acceleration. But Jack Miller, I think, Simon, we know that those advances have helped the Ducati with the aero and that rear ride-out device, but I think Jack was most pleasantly surprised by the fact that we know they've made great strides with the turning of that bike. And as you pointed out in commentary yesterday in that extended FP1 session, particularly in that final sector, the Ducati now turning on a sixpence. I mean, they've made massive strides. For how many years did we hear about the dreaded understeer problems with the Desmond Sadici? But the advances in aero and with the rear ride-out devices have been significant. But Ducati's chassis and turning performance has been very, very impressive, because that bike was a bit of a barge to turn in the past, wasn't it?
Yeah, everybody complained of that. And they're saying a lot of it is fairing. You know, I'm sure there is also chassis improvements they've made, maybe even engine, meaning weight of crankshaft, etc., that has helped the turning. But the riders say in the fast turns that the fairing has made a big difference, and that was the big difference at Aragon. They said, you know, quick turns from the year before to this year, that was the big improvement on the Ducati, being able to turn it through the fast turns, not running wide. And look, I think while we got KTM on the screen, that is their weakness at the moment, like Ducati was. Probably I would put Honda in the same basket, meaning their weakness is getting it turned mid-turn. They've got other issues that we hear the riders talk about, grip on entry, exit, but if you can't get it turned mid-turn, you can't exit well. You know, you're opening the throttle, like I mentioned yesterday, on the edge of the tyre, and you can't fire it out. And what I saw Jack doing yesterday, Matt, without exaggerating, I don't say this very often, Jack in the dry, Jack Miller, looked to me better than anyone, and that's what I was so surprised seeing that, meaning that he stood out, you know, because not many guys stand out at the moment. They're all really, really close. That I think that Jack, if he's found something that I saw yesterday, he can seriously be a big threat.
So here we go then, there's confirmation on your screens. It was thankfully a very short delay after the long delay with the rain disrupting the earlier Moto2 qualifying session. As you can see on your screens, we'll be back underway here in Motegi in around 4.5 minutes time. The pit lane due to open at 16:10 local time then here, and the Beast will be in action. The Beast has been on the prowl, and Samazny, over the last couple of races or so. A stunning fight with Pecco Bagnaia for the victory in Misano, and then their epic fight that went all the way down to the last lap again in Motorland Aragon last weekend. Are we set, if it's a dry race or a wet race for that matter, tomorrow here in Motegi for Bagnaia versus Bastianini, episode 3. There's Tetsuta Nagashima then. He's been doing a great job wildcarding for HRC here this weekend. And another Japanese rider. There's big interest in this MotoGP race for Japanese talent, with, of course, Taka Nakagami being joined by Nagashima-san. They're really close pals, been dishing out some restaurant recommendations to our colleagues Jack Appleyard, Lewis Sotheby and Elliot York. The boys have been filling their faces full of some Japanese local food. And, of course, the man we just saw on screens there as well, Takuya Suda-san, in the Team Suzuki X-Star garage, replacing Juan Mir. He was due, though, to be here anyway on a third factory Suzuki as a thank you for all of his work behind the scenes as a test rider. Surely not. Is that some blue sky appearing off into the distance there here in Japan? That's the first time we've seen any break in the clouds since we arrived here at about 8:30 local time this morning.
Yeah, just to let the viewers know what the aims are for the Japanese guys that we just saw on screen, not Taka, but Nagashima-san and Suda-san. Basically, Nagashima-san riding the Honda. He's been doing test riding for Honda, as has Suda-san for Suzuki, and they both are kind of given this ride as a gift, a thank you, and they do not have the pressure of you know, expecting them to finish in the top 10. They want them to go out and enjoy it, so you know, as a thank you.
Well, when we've seen both of them on screen, certainly both of them walking around the paddock, they've had big smiles on their faces, soaking up the atmosphere here of their home Grand Prix. Suda-san, of course, this is his second MotoGP start. He did replace Alex Rins in the Spanish Grand Prix in a ref back in 2017, but a great way for Suzuki to say thank you to him. Now then, a man who knows exactly what current track conditions are like, because he's just had an excellent qualifying session in that delayed Moto2 session. I'm delighted to say down in pit lane with Jack Appleyard is Elfmark BDS Racing Team rider Tony Arbolino. Down to you guys.
Yeah, it certainly is. The noise in the background is him being dried off, so you can tell that conditions are pretty tough out there. What is the latest, Tony? What is it like that out there?
Like now. Right now it looks like really tough. I mean, not so bad, because in circuit, in these conditions, when there is more rain on the track, on the asphalt, looks like it's more grippy and more safe. But too much, not like before. So I think they will have a good sensation for me. So I mean, but by man, was good could be for me, because before the red flag it was P14, and it was like no way, you know. With a good Friday like that, good pace, showing a good pace, and after start from P14, it's always tough. So happy about that, happy about this first row. Even if it was P4, for me was amazing, because the conditions were really difficult. So happy about that, proud about that. Thanks for all the crew, to all the crew for the work that they have been. So happy about that.
And just quickly, at the end of the session, were there any areas, any corners in particular that were difficult?
Yeah, turn 3, it's dangerous. Now I forget, but turn 3, it's really dangerous. So I was just closing my eyes, but our feeling always in the rain, it's not so good compared to MotoGP, because I think they have a better grip and better, let's say, tire. But honestly, I was really proud about the feeling also about my bike.
Well done, Tony. Thanks for the time.
Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Jack. Thanks, Tony Arbolino. Yeah, turn 3 was very problematic this morning in that wet MotoGP FP2, wasn't it? We saw all of our title contenders, Fabio Quartararo, Aleix Espargaro and Pecco Bagnaia, have runoffs this morning.